It's the day that we've all been waiting for,
No.
February 14th, Valentine's Day. That means you forgot. Somebody forgot out there, and they're like, oh, crap. That's all right. You have all day to go. We're going to talk about Chinese OEMs, Toyota, and Valentine's Day candy history in the meantime. Are you all like Valentine's Day people?
Nah, we actually target Valentine's, so it's like a full run for us, right? So like we go Christmas, anniversary, birthday, like all within a 35-day timeline.
Oh, between oh my gosh.
It's 35 days. Christmas, anniversary, birthday. Wow. So Valentine's Day is
broke.
Like
you're broke.
We're broke. We're dead, right? So we actually our family, it's like a family like
togetherness.
We love each other togetherness day. Like that's the last few years what we've done. So like we put something out in the morning for the kids, and then we normally do a little nicer dinner and some stuff.
I mean, that sounds like a celebration.
It's a celebration of just like our.
That sounds like three
love.
things. Yeah, that sounds like three things more than I do.
But Sarah, we don't like Amanda and I don't like. It's not like the flowers and the chocolate and all the stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, so one year Sarah and I were like, we're not doing Valentine's Day. Psh. Like we date and we do stuff, and then I realized like it's still good to do something. And then if you have daughters, like it's good to do something. Like you got to teach your daughters what they should expect.
That's right.
But I remember one year Sarah just brought home a whole like giant, the big Target bags, like the big, when you buy a big thing, they give you the big bag. Well, one of those bags full of Nerf guns with the little balls that shoot. And she was like, here you go. To the kids, she's like, here you go. Here you go. Here you
just
go.
running around.
Which was probably, if you've ever bought a Nerf gun like that, it was probably more expensive than like a really nice dinner out with all the Nerf guns. But I mean, we had like 1,000 of those balls. They're gone. We moved. I don't know like what little monster ate them all, but we couldn't find a single one. But we still have those
still in the couch, like way down.
They're everywhere. They're probably actually in the HVAC ducts. It's probably where they are. Whoops. I know. Whoever bought that house is gonna find a surprise one year.
That's great.
Oh man. Great. Well, look, we just released a new episode of our Auto Collabs podcast, Public Policy from Public Policy Day. We were with Adam Marburger of Ascent Dealer Services. We talk about his being a girl dad, his background in jiu-jitsu and martial arts, and actually we talked about the car business a little bit too.
There you go. That part too.
Oh, he's such a servant leader. We were at the Syracuse car show just a couple of days ago, the Syracuse crew, and one of the dealers actually brought Adam up. He said, oh, I saw that he was on something. He's like, we love him. We love his servant leadership mindset. We love his new book. So Adam's a cool guy to know. You should check out the podcast. You can just search Auto Collabs. It's a quick 20-minute conversation, and you get all the good stuff.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Man, we got other podcasts, NADA show sessions with Doug Miller of Cars Commerce. It's a brand new podcast that we've released. We'll be doing it every single year, but it's called NADA show sessions. You can search it on any podcast platform. But we got to talk about the dealer club acquisition that they announced over NADA with Doug Miller. So you want to check that out. And then, man, we got an Edge webinar coming next Wednesday. They're
back.
30 minutes. They're back. This one I cannot wait for because Matt Murray always comes in with a dialed-in mindset. He's just like the chillest dude, I think, in all of the world. It's natural because he's from Burlington, Vermont. But we're going to be talking a bit about what they see with reputation management over there at Wide Whale.
Yeah, very, very cool. SodaCon, we got a lot of announcements today. SodaCon, tickets are live. Listen, if you're coming to a SodaCon.
Hotels are live.
Oh, my goodness. If you get your tickets early, get your hotel rooms early because the event hotel is absolutely going to sell out fast. It sold out last year, and we're going to have a lot more people at a SodaCon this year. So it's going to sell out even faster. There's a lot of hotels in the area. Actually, if you're on a budget, there's like a pretty nice Courtyard Marriott. It's like $98 a night. Even the hotel, the really nice live casino hotel room is $179. We were able to negotiate.
It's nuts.
That is the nicest, cheapest hotel room on the East Coast. I guarantee it.
Has to be.
Guarantee it.
Like I'm telling you, it's a $350 hotel room everywhere else in the country.
Easy. So, and we've put a lot of stuff together for SodaCon last week, working very hard on topics, agenda. We don't release the stuff early because things change so fast. So, but now we're in the zone. 90 days out, topics are coming your way. We actually have a bit of an international contingent coming to a SodaCon this year. We got a group, a a well-known group from Spain is coming in. There are also rumors maybe a group from Brazil, Mexico, maybe our friends from Kazakhstan. Steve Greenfield's going to be putting on a little international thing. So SodaCon's really ramping up.
It's heating up
to be the place to be. And if you're international, actually, it's one of the easiest places to get to. Like
really
all the
is.
DC airports.
Get right there to all those DC airports, just like that.
All right, let's talk about some news.
Come on, let's go.
This is a cool one. A teardown analysis by Caresoft Global Technologies is revealing that Chinese automakers are rapidly surpassing the Detroit 3 in cost efficiency, speed, and innovation. Legacy automakers are struggling with outdated or older manufacturing methods. Chinese brands are cutting costs, streamlining production, expanding aggressively into global markets. Detroit automakers are using 12 rare earth metal so basically what this company does, let me just explain it for a second.
Yeah. So
they get Caresoft Global Tech, they get these vehicles, they break them down piece by piece, they set all the pieces up. It's really cool. And then they analyze every little thing that the automaker's doing, why they're doing it, how much it costs to do it, and it's very revealing. So like some of the findings are Detroit automakers using 12 rare earth magnets and steel brackets to put a headliner, right? Roof is aluminum. They have to put a steel bracket on there. So then they can put magnets on the back of the headliner and stick it in place, right? Seems like a really tidy way to put it up there. Well, that costs about $1 per fastener, as they say. Chinese EVs, they're using a lighter, more affordable material, and they're just using adhesive strips that cost a penny a piece.
Of course.
Right? And there are a lot of other, you should read the article, click through and read it. It's very fascinating. The Chinese government has been standardizing components. So that's one advantage they have in manufacturing. If you standardize components, you don't have to think about it. You just have to work within that constraint. Here's another thing they highlighted. And
that's standardizing components across manufacturers. Like
that's the efficient part, right?
So now all of your supplier network gets more efficient as well.
I mean, that's very difficult to do, and it's tough to do in this.
So hard.
But and so also Chinese government, they were talking about how long it took to get a meeting with a Chinese automaker versus like a German or a U.S. automaker. They said that could take months to get a meeting with a German exec or a U.S. exec. In China, they said it took a week. And they were have a meeting, get some things done. In one, when Caresoft gave a presentation of like the breakdown and all this to China, 700 employees showed up on a Saturday, which is like not a work day. And they say it's very difficult to get anybody to do something in the U.S. on a Saturday. And they were just kind of highlighting the hunger, the entrepreneurial hustle behind.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, China exported 6.4 million vehicles in 2024, which is a 23% increase over the previous year. Their brands, BYD, Chery, Geely, around Africa. So, I mean, the whole thing this is just highlighting the disparity in growth curve and expenses.
Well, and we obviously think about the U.S. manufacturing and U.S. sales a lot, but like all of these U.S. brands are interested in global sales, and that impacts the U.S. viability of that brand. And so when you look at the fact that the Chinese manufacturers are not just eating their lunch in costs and all of that type of stuff, like in their nation, but they're starting to eat their lunch in global sales that could impact the overall actual manufacturer's ability to be profitable in the U.S. Right? Like that's kind of like just like a widening of the perspective. I am still interested in though, like, did over time we realize the magnets made that headliner not drop? And
I thought about that
years,
too.
You're gonna see, like there are some things that you start to go back and you're like, oh, that's there for a reason. So will be interesting to see over the next 2 to 3 years what this like quality standard, whether or not it holds up with the Chinese manufacturers. But it is clear that there is, like you said, a hunger out there to win in the global EV race.
Yeah. Our friend, this is really goes along with what Mike Stanton has been telling us, John Bozzella for Alliance of Automotive Innovation, that like there is a head start. And, you and I talk about the difference when you invent the technology originally versus when you just get to start from scratch. You use the phone example all the time of like, hey, undeveloped countries never had a network of hard phone lines and phone poles. And so when the internet came out or when wireless tech came out, their whole infrastructure got built around a nimble wireless because they didn't have to unwind the existing infrastructure. It seems like a very similar issue, but I think your point that you made about like initial quality versus like long-term quality, right? The headliner's on with it. Does that mean if there's ever an issue, like it ruins the headliner when you pull it down?
I've seen a headliner coming down, and that thing was glued on, and it was tough.
Geez, I think you just brought back all these childhood memories. Remember how many vehicles had the big bubbles in the headliner?
Just a big old sag in that.
And people would like put thumbtacks in them, right? And then the tacks would fall. They'd be on your seat. That is bringing back I can smell the old cars.
Oh, I can smell it too. Like that foamy smell. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Moving on. Toyota is pushing for increased production and sales in 2025 after a strong 2024, despite supply chain hurdles and stop sales. The company saw record accessory sales, nearly record part sales, and a 3% increase in U.S. light vehicle sales, totaling almost 2 million units. They built over 2 million vehicles in North America, and they want to increase output in 2025 to help improve those inventory levels for Toyota dealers. We know have been very skim and very low. Dealers have definitely adapted to lean inventory, high throughput model, pre-selling vehicles, and managing allocations. Hybrids and plug-ins make up 43% of all U.S. sales, up from 29% in 2023. Wow. They expect 50% in 2025, rising to 60 or 70% long-term as it gets its North Carolina battery plant online. And so after some weather disruptions at the NADA show, which we all just experienced, Toyota executives and retailers did meet virtually this month, where brand head Dave Christ emphasized the company's focus of the year. Our message for 2025 is very simple, he says. It's build more and sell more.
Yeah, we have some insider knowledge that like the current projection plan is that they will still be maintaining an under 20-day supply on new vehicles for the entirety of the year. I think that there's so much demand out there for Toyotas that even if they're building more and selling more, they've figured out how to like match supply and demand in an appropriate way so that profitability stays high with Toyota dealers. Mm-hmm. Look, there's a few things that is really interesting to me about this article and about Toyota dealers is they have figured out this like we put it in the show notes here, but lean inventory, high throughput, pre-selling vehicles, and managing allocations efficiently. Like if you know any Toyota dealer, you should be asking them about how they're managing the inventory, how they're managing the customer process, because they've had to figure out this, like, I'm going to sell you a car for 2 months from now, and I know what the trade, like if you're trying to figure that whole process out for your brand, a Toyota dealership is really a good place to start right now.
I mean, have you ever seen a better example of supply and demand economics working in your favor? I know. Speaking of unbelievable,
stop. Segue.
Time. Speaking about an unbelievable amount of candy and flowers.
The money spent today. Valentine's Day remains a battle between flowers and candy, with 56% of celebrants purchasing candy and 40% buying flowers back in 2024. Despite candy's popularity, flower sales edged out candy sales because they price y'all at $2.9 billion compared to $2.5 billion. Here's some fun key moments in the candy history of Valentine's. In 1968, Cadbury debuted their first heart-shaped candy box. Interesting.
A long time ago. 1868.
1868. 1902, Necco produces its first conversation hearts with sayings like "be mine." So that's been going on a hot minute.
They're still disgusting.
And they're still just chalky and they just are troubling. In 1986, Hershey's Kisses launched Valentine's Day themed red and pink foil wrappers. So Hershey's got on board. Wow. This was a fun one. If you didn't know about this, in 2010, it was Parks and Rec that introduced Galentine's Day. Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's so wild. Parks
My
and
girls
Rec,
just had a Galentine's party, and I was like, it's just a new thing. It's a TV show.
There's some culture from that. Wow. And then in 2019, Smarties, realized Gen Z was coming around, and they added the saying "swipe right, text me, and YOLO" to their conversation hearts, which is, I don't know how I feel about all that. In 2024, protein-packed meat hearts beef jerky is introduced.
Disgusting.
Printed sayings include "meat me" and "beef mine," and that is gross.
It's like Happy Valentine's Day. Here's a meat heart, right?
No.
I mean, interesting fact: FDA is banning red 3 dye by red number 3. Like we've heard a lot about that, which they should.
Some kids go crazy on that stuff.
They really do. So they'll have to reformulate their hearts. It's not going to be a big deal.
It's not.
It's just like, I mean, they'll figure out something else that makes the color red. I don't know.
The real story here is there's still plenty of stuff at the Walgreens and the Kroger and all the places to, if you forgot, here's your helpful reminder. Grab something at lunch before you get home tonight. You know what I mean?
It's also not too late to do something fun, like in the service drive for your service customers. Go get some stuff, hand some out, leave a little bit in the car. It'll be a great time. Always good to use the cultural moments to make customer connection moments. Whatever it is, it's Friday. Get out there, have some fun, sell some cars.